Hi, everyone. This is Dallas and Kurt, and myself, of course, with Underground Science. This week, I had asked for people to send in suggestions, questions, and so forth like that. Uh, One of the things I got, which is a subject I like, is on the Tasmanian tiger. There's claims now and then that it's not actually extinct. People have seen them. Uh, I have seen fake Photoshop pictures, of course. The funny thing was I had the same Tasmanian tiger picture put into different pictures. So, they were pretty creative there. Uh, your thoughts on that or anything you've heard that we might not have known?
Well, I always wonder if anything is ever really extinct. We're finding now, of course, that there was a lady in North Carolina. I had a dinner with a good friend of mine here a week or so ago. He knows a lot of obscure things, not a lot of particularly scientific, but his thought on that was now that carbon-14 dating is becoming a more readily available resource for testing decomposition, I guess the best way to put it. They're finding that a lot of these dinosaurs, they said that were extinct millions of years ago, carbon dating puts them as dying between 6 and 14,000 years ago, just the specimens that they have. Some have little follicles from feathers and things like that. But as it pertains to the Queensland tiger, or the thylacine, or whatever you want to call it, Tasmanian tiger, they do have a pickled pup, and there's been a lot of debate in the Australian Parliament, or at least there was up until about 5 years ago, about whether they should clone it. Since they've got the viable material, why don't they do it? And the idea is, well, really, we killed them for a reason. They were
Did we freeze? I did.
Well, I guess my guess would be, if you think about it, why they killed them would basically be they were intrusive to people's houses, where people live, and every once in a while an attack on a human. I mean, you don't know. I don't. I mean, if they have a pickled version, you're not talking about it being that old. And I was looking at some pictures of it, and it looks like, and it's this is totally new to me. So whatever I say, don't take this as gospel. By far, don't take it as gospel. But the fact is, they kind of looks like a crossbreed between, let's say, a tiger and a wolf. It's just kind of got that look to it. And as Dallas was saying, I hope I'm close to where he was going with it. Is they just tend to die out. I mean, I'm sure they weren't on. I'm saying this, and I'm saying they weren't prey. How about that? They were probably definitely a lot more predator than prey. But I guess, go ahead.
To me, they're going to be more like the large coyotes that y'all have in your area. In the United States, we've got basically two types of coyotes. One that's all coyote, and then the eastern coyote, which actually has some wolf in it. That happened, a long time ago, but they are a larger coyote. And what I think is neat, if you look at the pictures, the last one that they had in the zoo, and you go back to that picture that was shot from the patrol car cam of what was supposed to be a chupacabra, it's the same jaw. The super long jaw, because I mean their mouth is shaped differently. But I mean, we hunted them out. It's not like they were that awful. It's like having the wolf or coyote population around. So to me, if they could clone them, I'd say do it. I wish they'd bring them back. Along with some other animals that we as humans made extinct. It's not like it died from climate change or anything like that.
What's your take, Dallas, on that?
I think Dallas and I are both having issues with the internet. My power keeps going out, so if I pop off for a minute, I'll be back. And talking about the Tasmanian tiger, of course, led me to the cloning, which I think would be great. I had someone ask me the other day about D.B. Sweeney, about the legends, and I haven't heard anything new on that front, other than I'd love to go to the party next year that they have every year.
I think D.B. Sweeney's dead, long dead.
Well, there's still people trying to claim that their relatives are D.B. Sweeney.
Oh, they're so dead. Why don't you jump out of the plane at that altitude? You know what I'm saying? They're finding money, supposedly. I mean, I've heard they found cash. And
Well, a
stuff
kid
like that.
did. A kid found some on the banks of a river. As a little kid, he was out with his dad, and and it was some of the money that he had, but they don't know what happened to the rest of it, of course. But of course, they've got the people that say, well, he bought a house, he did this, he did that. So, like an urban legend type thing.
Yeah, I mean, D.B. Sweeney's definitely, he's got that whole urban myth kind of thing about him. Because think about this: if you just had a parachute and you're X amount, I really don't know how many thousands of feet off the plane was when he opened the door and made a jump. But the fact was that if you're above 10,000 feet, basically, you think about it, you're jumping out, you naturally don't have oxygen because
Right.
most planes are basically, that once they get above 10,000 feet, they compress, so you got to have oxygen going. I mean, that's why, so I really don't know how high up he was, and it was the middle of the night when he did it. Wasn't it wintertime or something like that when he made his jump?
Yeah, it was. I don't think it was that cold. Of course, as high as they were, it was pretty cold. But I know they had on one of the shows I watched, they had a flying school, and you could also do parachuting there. And they actually had what was considered the DB Sweeney jump that was really popular. And there were several people that said, yes, that jump could have been made, and he could have survived that. And I mean, you've got to pull cord. They said that's it. Most people can figure that out with the type of pack he asked for. He could have done that. And I mean, yeah, he did ask for a certain type of parachute. So I
But
would
he
say,
wasn't. The way I look at it though, he wasn't trained like these professionals are. These professionals that are up that high, when they do make their jump, they know how to, control it. They're going back and forth. They can control their thing. DB Sweeney did it in the pitch black. I mean, the odds of survival, and plus the money. Why would it be lying around if you survive? He'd basically be going for it. The next day, once he made got his head straight about what happened, try to find out, unless it was real windy out and the money bag just blew open and everything just spread. You think he'd be looking for it for months on end, for the amount of money he ended up getting. So I don't know.
I don't know. I was wondering if it, of course, Dallas still isn't on yet. He's working on his getting situated. Something we went over last time we talked to him. We spoke a little about was Confederate gold. I've been trying to do some looking into on that. I'm trying to find some areas maybe nearby where I am where I can check it out. And I've also tried finding some people to bring on the show that know about Confederate gold, some of the really neat signs, the history on why they use certain markers and so forth like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, Confederate gold. Good luck. I mean, good luck. Good luck finding that. I'll be honest. Good luck on that. I mean, you know how many people have been out there looking for that, probably post Civil War and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of people. But I would like to go up near where Jesse James lived, where he hung out, and places like that. That's where you'll find some. You might luck out and find not only gold, but something worth a whole lot of money because it's Jesse James. I mean, he's like an American icon. And that's the way I look at it is that I'd love to take a metal detector up there, find certain areas, talk to certain farmers, get permission, which I doubt they'd let me, but I would love to because I do go out metal detecting as another hobby of mine. And I found a little Civil War stuff and stuff like that, which is fine. But to find something that was Jesse James that you could actually trace back to him, not or even Frank James, would be incredible, except Bob Ford. I'd leave it. I'd stomp his body. That's all I got to say. Bob Ford deserves to get his body stomped. I got about 200 pounds of stomping in me to do it. So I'll make sure he's all broken up.
Hey, since from the show from last week, did you learn anything on prepping?
Yeah.
Other than you might not make it.
No, I'm still stuck with that because now that we're DC, whatever happens in the world, Washington D.C. we're always on somebody's radar. I mean,
Right.
you get to the point. I grew up across the missile base during the Cold War. We had SAM missiles, surface-to-air missiles, which were in silos. I mean, you grew up with it so much, it becomes so. After a while, it's like, what can you do? I can't do anything about it. But prepping wise, I found it actually very interesting. But to be serious, should something happen, it's going to happen in my area so fast that in order to get out and let's say get out towards the mountains or towards the country, where let's say somebody did a dirty bomb, and which would be a small nuke in a suitcase. They lit off a dirty bomb near my house. In order to survive that, it's going to be a mob scene. Everybody going in the same direction just to survive that. I mean, now that we're on high alert in DC, I mean, you walk around and you see the news and all that, and everybody's got their M16, M4s, all the cops do. I mean, they're locked and loaded and ready to go. But what happens is it's not going to be like I'd say is planned out as something in Paris. I think more or less it's going to be a lone wolf attack. And we've seen that. We see that all the time. We've seen it at the movie theater. The
You
guy
got
that
the
shot at the movie
marathon.
theater, Columbine. Look at the guy that went into that Sandy Hook Elementary School. I mean, these are some sick people that are
Right.
going in there that are doing this stuff. That's the attack that they're going to probably hit. Should they hit DC? It's going to be a lone wolf attack. It'll be a soft target. Hell, it could be a movie theater. It could be me in the grocery store. But I'm not getting paranoid. I'm living my life. So many people are paranoid about it. And I'm sitting there going, what are you so paranoid about? You live in Nebraska. That's the last place anybody is going to hit you is in Nebraska. That's going to bring nothing on. And they're about, ISIS or ISIL, whatever you call them. They're about bringing, fame to themselves. They're about being on television. They're about this. They're about, that. But half these people out there drive me up a wall. I mean, I was reading Facebook and going, oh, you're a joke, 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 you're a joke. You can't explain to me why. If somebody can't explain to me why, I got no respect for them. None. But prepping, you're safer where you're at than you would be where I'm at. Maybe that's why I probably should be more of a prepper here because I probably need it here a little bit more than you do there. And let's be honest about it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I highly doubt. Because I remember after 9/11 and they hit the Pentagon, I mean, the grocery stores were mob scenes.
Oh
Because
yeah.
the government started telling everybody, you gotta get the water, you gotta get this, have at least X amount of days worth of water, dry goods, and stuff like that. So, like I said on the last show, it's like, yeah, my mom did it. I was like, you know what? I really don't care. If it happens, I mean, we'll wait and see how it is. I'll go to my neighbor's house just as our guest said. But I'm not going to wait 10 days like he said. I'm going to do it in the first 2 days, and then that's going to be it. I'm going to have water. I'm going to have a nice shovel tool for whatever. I don't know what I'm going to do. Dig a deep hole and sleep in it. I mean, Jesus, it's like unbelievable. But prepping I found very interesting. That and when I came to the conclusion, I'm not well prepped. And I don't mean to be cheesy about it. I am so not well prepped. If anything should happen. Yeah,
I can back up your story on it.
if my TV doesn't work, my computer doesn't work, my cell phone doesn't work, I'm going for a bike ride just to watch what happens. At least I'll get to see something before I check out. And I think that's the way I look at it. I mean, thinking about it, I mean, people are so and it's a freaking tragedy what just happened in France.
Oh,
I'm
it's
not making
horrible.
that in the least bit. That was a tragedy of all tragedies. I mean, even watching it on the news, you're like, Jesus. I mean, but and politically speaking, we're like, well, we need to send ground troops in there. Well, let me think about that. Probably not the best thing because that's what they want. You know, and we don't want to send our kids back. We just got out of Afghanistan. Why do we want to send our kids in there? There are all these other countries that should be there fighting them on the ground. It doesn't have to be us. You know, let the Russians do it. Let France do it. You know, let them step up. We've been doing it for years. I'm not going to. I think no. Bomb them. Keep bombing them. I don't care what they say on Fox TV. That's a freaking joke. I don't care if they say on CNN. That's a freaking joke. It's just like, because, you know, the mass media is owned by only 6 corporations. So you're getting 6 views. That's it in the United States. And it's all funneled down between Fox, CNN, and MSNBC. You know, and the company, oh my God. I go crazy over this sometimes. I go on my rants. But people follow that. And I'm not saying I don't. I'm a sucker. I do the same thing. I mean, I watch it. I'll take a nap, or I'll go out for a walk, or I'll do something, and then I'm like, Jesus. You know, it's just like I turn the channel, it's like the same thing. It's monotonous. So for people, and I want to say this, and I don't care what you think of me. I could care less. Let the Syrians come in, because more than likely most of them are going to be kids and women that are not going to be the ones to bomb you. They are not going to be it. No, they're the ones that are scared of They're the ones that are scared of Al Qaeda. They're the ones that are scared of ISIS. You know, and everybody, you know, and they say, and this is, I caught Fox not Fox. I caught Rubio, and I caught him in a BS statement, or was it Trump? Oh, we let thousands of Syrians in the last few years, and they corrected them. They're like, no. State Department 36. That's it. It's you get.
I heard something about 3,000.
Yeah, no, 36. 36 was it. That's it. We let in 36 Syrians, and people are freaking out. They don't even realize 36. Now, when I saw an interview with a Syrian, he was living in Ohio somewhere, and he was working. He was a landscaper. Must have become a construction worker, because that's what he did in Syria. Had a family. Little kids. It wasn't. People are so paranoid by what the news throws at us. They're so paranoid about what these politicians throw at us. You know, it drives me up a freaking wall. And I'll just stop right there with that.
That wasn't a rant.
Oh, never.
I'm sorry.
Would never do that.
I'm like inundated by news now. Like being in the D.C. area, it's like I'm losing my mind. You know, after a while.
I know exactly what you mean. Were you talking about Paris in particular, or just the media's handling of events like this?
The media's handling of how the media handles everything, and how some Americans, and I'm saying some Americans, not all, because I never lump everybody in, fall for it all the time. It's like constantly they believe what's being spoon-fed to them, and then they can't think for themselves. They don't. They start posting stupid stuff on Facebook, which I fact check, and then I go back just to rub it in their face, and I put the facts using multiple sources to say, no, that's just Facebook news. It's like the Wild West of news, you know. So it's, oh God, I'm done. I am done with my rant.
I think you did quite well. It's kind of an aspect of what I cover, and I do apologize if I go out again. For some reason, my Microsoft camera is not compatible with Microsoft, and this just blows my mind. But leave it to them to hide even from themselves. But speaking of that, one thing that I spend a lot of time with is I look into how the media actually manipulates the tone, the mood, and the responses and reactions of the American people.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of things that they've posted as legitimate stories, and what happens is they will come up with things that they will kind of slide into entertainment that later becomes reality.
Exactly.
And one point of that, I pointed out to a good friend of mine, his name is Gordon Butler. He'd be a good one to have on. He knows, like I said, really obscure stuff. But if you look at the third Batman movie, Dark Knight Rises, I think, was the third one. Anyway, there's a scene in there. You know, they had like this 5 megaton bomb that they had in one of these trash trucks, and they were trying to track the route. If you look at that movie, and you can look at it on YouTube because they actually showed some of the frames of it, the only legible street name or location name on the map they used was Sandy Hook. And the word Aurora appears in the movie in one point where, you know, it's in neon across the skyline there at night. Now, when Aurora appears in the movie, nobody's ever seen it before. This guy gets up and starts shooting up the theater. And it's little bits and pieces of things like that, and the staging of events such as Sandy Hook that didn't really occur. If you go to the FBI site, there were no casualties there. Satellite imagery of that school showed that nobody was going there before about 2 weeks before their incident, and yet when they listed and showed pictures of these children supposedly killed in this event, they were standing behind President Obama when he was signing the bill, you know, to protect them and allow teachers to carry some weaponry.
I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, and it's all over the place. The same lady who was supposedly the companion to the guy that was the Aurora shooter was also one of the parents in Sandy Hook. The real parents never even made an appearance. But FEMA has what they call actors, and these same people appear over and over and over again. You can see the same person repeatedly, and a lot of events are staged. Now, they were talking about even Paris and the things that happened there and said, see, this was staged. I don't believe it was staged, but you get to a point where it's kind of like cry wolf. You get to where you don't trust the opinions of the media, the liberality of the media. Anything that has to do with conservatism or traditional values is kind of pushed by the wayside, but there's a lot of things out there that they present as fact and truth, and basically you don't know whether this really happened or someone just put it out there so they can say, see, this is how we need to handle things. There's a big difference between Ferguson, Baltimore, and Charleston, what happened with Charleston. Charleston was interesting in that my daughter, who lives down there, she's a tour guide. She's a storyteller, a folklorist like me. She does the jailhouse tour in the historical district. She had, you know, some of the black community come up to her and say, you know what, we're not going to respond the way Ferguson and Baltimore did. You have nothing to we don't believe this was a hate crime. We do believe this was real. But they didn't dare bust people into Charleston. They didn't dare loot and riot and things like that. They had too much respect for them.
Well, that's because I live like maybe an hour and a half from Ferguson, and Kurt was actually going to be flying in while all that was going on. So it's how that people react in my area is a lot different than in other areas. I don't know. It's like my state's back in time or back behind times or something. I just the way
I should have just broke out a banjo and a fiddle, you know, and I could have just said Sykeston.
You'll get in trouble one of these days. I'll post a video of you shooting a gun. Is Dallas froze up again? Hold on. I think.
All right. Dallas will be back. He'll be back. Okay. But what he was saying, I mean, it was interesting, that picture of that kid. I saw the picture, but I researched it, and it was Sandy Hook was the real deal. I mean, they got rid of the elementary school. They razed it to the ground, but still, I mean, it still was just crazy. I mean, just the whole thing. But yeah, I remember that. I remember that big time, actually.
Well, I know a lot of things were thrown out right after it happened. You had, you know, yeah, you've got people that supposedly they aired something too long. They didn't realize it was going to come on or, you know, show online when they posted the video. It was one of the dads, and supposedly his daughter had cried, and he was crying. And then 2 seconds later, he turns around and then starts laughing about something and walking around. There's information out there that they were doing drills at the very same day there. uh, just FEMA was doing different things. They had the police, and one of the police officers that was in Sandy Hook was at another store or school shooting also. I mean, because they had pictures of him in an interview and another picture of him from the other incident in a crowd, and it was looked like the same guy.
I'm a firm believer. I think a lot of these conspiracy theories out there, people tend to like get caught up in them. And the reason I blame people getting caught up in them is social media. I mean, look at
Yeah.
Facebook. I mean, people post the most insane stuff on Facebook, but you ask them to back it up with more fact. They can't do it because they said, "Oh, I just shared it with this person." You know, I was like, "Well, there you go." I mean, it's like a telephone game. It's like I tell you one thing, you know, or I post on Facebook, then let's say 20 other people post it with some statement above it, and it changes. I mean,
Right.
you're watching it change, and I posted something about the psychological breakdown of people that are conspiracy theorists and how they look at them and how they really did a great piece on these psychologists. Look at conspiracy theorists, and they said basically there's some issues with some of these people because they want to be right in their life. They want to be that. But I'm a firm believer. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I was at the what's it called after the plane hit it. It's the
Pentagon?
truth. At the Pentagon, the plane hit it. It wasn't anything else. The plane hit it. If you would have been as close as I was to it, the truth ain't nothing but the truth, people.
Oh, that's I have no doubt.
That's all I gotta say. The truth ain't nothing but the truth. Dig as deep as you want. The truth ain't nothing but the truth. And people, you gotta listen out there that sometimes the truth is just the truth. You just don't want to live in a society where the truth is the truth because you can't handle it. You can't take it. You know that life could be so brutal. But look at us. That's freaking life, and that's the way I look at it. I mean, I'll just go. I'm on a tangent again, but
well, a lot of people put stock into the conspiracy theories they hear or they may assume themselves because it's a way of protecting themselves or
mentally protecting themselves,
or just so it rearranges so that they don't feel as bad, so they don't feel as scared, things like that, where maybe they're not in danger. If somebody lived closer to the area where the Pentagon is, something like that happened, they don't want to believe that a plane's going to crash.
Oh, I believed it when I was sitting there and looking at them still pulling out stuff, knowing bodies were in there. We were in there. We were up there with about 400 other people watching this and looking like people had like these telescopes, these things. Oh, it was the real deal. So just what you see on TV, you know, there's a bunch of people out there that are just crayon chewers. They chew green crayons. They don't leave out of anything. They're green crayon chewers. And that's what I say to a lot of conspiracy theorists. You're green crayon chewers. Because you can't handle the truth. You cannot handle what's out there. It's the real world, people. It's not you hiding out in your living room looking stuff up on the internet.
Right.
It's the real world out there. You know, sometimes step out and you might enjoy it. You know, you might find some truth out there. Get a girlfriend. Get a life. But, you know, the way I look at it is you need people out there that are conspiracy theorists really need to get a grip. Not all of them. Don't get me wrong. Not all of them.
Right.
But a good amount of them can't face the truth of life. And they can't. You know what I'm talking about? That's the way I look at it. And some can, but they do so much research. They've done this, they've done that. It means nothing. It's not the truth. You know? I mean, it started off with Kennedy. And then it moved on with MLK. And then you got, you know, it's the truth. You know? It's the truth. You, let's say, see a murder take place, the grassy knoll. My view is going to be different than your view. It's like if we go to court and we both witness a traffic accident, same accident, but I'm on the right, you're on the left. We see two different things. But what happens is it's right down the middle. You know, and my view is going to be different than your view. You know, it's a little theory kind of deal. That's the way a lot of these theorists kind of work. So, on that note, that's all I got to say about it. I mean, I disagree with a lot of conspiracy theorists out there because they can't. It's the truth is the truth, nothing but the truth, and I'll leave it at that.
Well, actually, with what's been, what happened in Paris, things that are still going on, I know that, on the news, didn't verify it, but they had like 900 different cases where they were investigating here in the United States. And I worry about,
They don't tell us stuff.
right, but I worry about individuals taking advantage of that and, trying to do things here, not necessarily in Sykeston, Missouri, but maybe St. Louis, Memphis, just anywhere where they're going to get attention.
It's
Right.
copycat. It's all about, a lot of times, we can look at this with this lone wolf theory.
Right.
Now, they're afraid of, they're talking about in Paris too, that, I want the same fame as these 8 guys had, or 6 guys that are killed. They died as martyrs, but you got to worry about the copycat killers.
Right.
The absolute ones that scare me more than anything. Yeah, you initially get over an incident. Let's say the shooting in Aurora at the Fed. And then out there in your head, you're going, more than likely there is somebody out there that's that sick in the head that will pull a copycat, maybe not in the theater, but somewhere else. Or Columbine especially. Because Columbine was unbelievable. The guy at was it Virginia Tech? The guy at Virginia Tech that killed 30 people, the Asian guy. I'm worried about copycats after that. That's not my neck of the woods.
Well, and I think a lot, I'm gonna say a lot of things like that are due to the media that's out there. It's not necessarily everybody's gonna watch a actual news channel. They get on Facebook, they get on, satire sites. And the video games. I mean, my kids had to go for a while. I mean, here they had several game consoles, but I was like, no, y'all cannot play any more games that kill people. Well, then they killed aliens and robots and everything else. But, I knew my kids were not going to grow up to be serial murderers. So it was like, all right, y'all can play your regular games now. But a lot of kids cannot differentiate between that once they become so absorbed in it.
Well, in the military, that's interesting you brought that up. In the military, they train some of these guys to use these games to kill because it desensitizes them to actual killing.
Right.
They'll play video games that are like ultra violent, which I personally, I don't know. I think we tend as a society to blame, let's say, video games. We tend to blame violent movies. But let's look at the theory. I didn't mean to flick you off like that. I didn't mean that. That really was not meant. That truly was not meant. I was trying to count. I got to 3, and I was like that. But let's look at this. And then you're going to go, and this is going to piss a lot of people off, and I know it's going to piss you off, but there's a gun issue that we have in this country. And we have, along with the gun issue, we have people that have mental illness. True. And I think those two together is like fire and gasoline. Those two together are fire and gasoline. But let's go down with if the guy only had a knife, how many people would he have killed in Aurora?
He might could have killed a couple if he went slashing throats.
But more likely he'd be taken out.
But I'm gonna bring this up. When I was in high school, if you went out into the parking lot and looked at the trucks, there were gun racks with guns in there. Yeah. And the difference is the media. We didn't have internet when I was in high school, and we had people with mental illnesses then. I think, along with several of these kids, I've looked at several of these kids that committed the crimes, and of course, I'm not the only one who looked on that, researched on that. But a lot of those kids, besides being so into the video games, were on medication that they've been new. They had it stopped. The doctor was no longer prescribing it. So, I think it's a mixture of things. It is
a mix. You're right. I happen to agree with you 100%. It's not just one thing. It's a mixture, and that mixture is volatile. Very volatile when it happens. Like let me give you an example. If I'm on a medication for mental illness or something like that, I stop taking it. You're going to see me a lot different than you would see me if I'm on it. Now, give me a gun, and I will. It's just, again, you're adding to that problem. You know, and I think a lot of times, and sometimes, and I could be wrong on this, and I hope I'm not, but I think also in an area such as yours in Sykeston, people have gun racks. Yeah, they have gun racks up here too, but it's rare. You got to go to West Virginia, or you got to go to Western Maryland or Eastern Shore, Maryland.
Well, see, we even would have huge fights at our school. Our school did have, I mean, people got along, but there were some underlying issues.
Okay.
I won't go into. So yes, at times they'd have some big fights, but nobody ever thought I'm gonna,
bring a gun.
Cross their minds to go out and get one of the guns.
We don't nowadays. See, the thing is, when we grew up, Lynette, since we are the same age, it was more about throwing down with your fists.
Right.
Nowadays, kids. I apologize, my phone just went off. Kids nowadays. Jesus, my apologies. I'm getting like hate mail all of a sudden.
Oh, you're not.
Yeah, we'll take care of you, Lawson. You just tell us where you live. I was like, hold on, is Dick's Sports still open? I gotta go up there real quick. But no, that's how they did it. They threw down. You ever seen that on Friday, the movie Friday, with Craig's dad talking about nobody ever went and got a gun. It was always about the fist. Mm-hmm. And I think the kids nowadays, the younger kids nowadays, they're quicker to get a gun. The younger kids, and you always see this, are quicker to get a gun than fight. Or what they'll do is they'll fight, then go get a gun if they lose. And it's really distancing themselves from that person that they're going to hurt or kill or whatever.
Because if they don't touch them, maybe it's probably easier for one thing, because it's not like they've got a hold of them doing something. With the gun, you shoot somebody, you can be several, 20 foot away, whatever. And, it kind of distances them, and maybe depending on how their mind works, their mind just may alleviate them from it altogether.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't do what the gun did.
100%, I agree. And I'm not anti-gun, that's the thing. And I'm not trying to come off as anti-gun, because I do like shooting guns, and this and that, I do. But you see a lot of gun issues and mental health issues going hand in hand. I think I think the government needs to do is, first off, go to these gun shows. Don't allow certain people to buy guns off of somebody's back where they don't have to get a background check for an assault rifle. You know what I'm talking about? Because they have enough gun shops there or people that are licensed to sell you a nice gun that you want. You buy from them. You don't buy from some creepy dude that's walking around with a Kalashnikov or an AK-47, because I could do that. I could go out and commit a crime with that, and that guy can't be held responsible. But I think the government needs to stop that. Cut it. Stop it. If you got a license to sell a gun, perfect. That's your job. Yay, more power to you. It's not the gun shows I'm calling out. I'm calling out the ability of our government really needs to pick up on the mental illness aspect of the gun. Also on, if the person's caught with a gun, how much trouble they should get in. A lot of trouble. Mental illness or not. They need to be put away for a while. In Virginia, when we remember the bridge, there's a bridge that goes right across from Maryland, goes over the Potomac River into Virginia. Right. We've driven across that. Well, it used to say back in the day, when we're on the Virginia side, if you have an unlicensed gun, you have a mandatory minimum of a 5-year sentence. That was the sign.
Telling me about that.
And Virginia is one of the more, I'd say, not liberal states, but one of the more lenient states about being able to get a gun. Maryland now, in order to get a pistol, I got to take a class. I got to get a highly qualified thing, take a class, register with register first off with the federal government, then I got to register with the state police, but it's keeping gun murders down in the state, and that's what we need. We don't need people. We got Baltimore. I'm on the D.C. line where we used to be called Dark City or Dead City, because it was just boom. You know, everybody, you have 300-400 murders a year going on, right 20 minutes down the street from my house. You know, that's why I see it differently, I think, than
Right.
other people do, because every day you read the paper, 3 people killed, 3 people killed, 4 people killed, 3 people killed, 1 in critical condition. You know, you read the paper going, and it's never in the news. Never, ever in the news. It's like that, how many people are killed. And it's just the way it is. And I think people, I was kind of ranting in a way I really didn't want to go, you know? I'm really kind of going in this direction where I kind of want to go in that direction. But in a sense, though, when it comes down to the media, I think people really need to cross-check and do a lot of fact-checking, especially if you're on Facebook. And I do got to say, some people on Facebook aren't the sharpest knives in the bunch. And I mean, I'm being dead serious about that. I mean, some of the stuff I read, I'm not saying names or anything like that. I sit there and laugh because out of stupidity. You know how I could knock this argument out. Give me 10 minutes to look a couple things up. I'll post it up there. I'll fact check the hell out of which fact check. You know, and shit like that. You know, or people that are adding to it by sending it to the next person, and it makes you've already sent a lie out. You know, one giant lie has been sent out. So
I know a quote I've heard that, you know, it's true. It says people are more likely to believe a big lie than a little one. A bigger one, they can actually do a little conspiracy theory, and you know, this is true, and this is why it's true, and that's where your conspiracy theorists come in. You know, talking about the guns and so forth, there's also an area where people are missing is people that inherit them. You know, there's a lot of people that when they pass, they may have 20 or 30 guns.
What are they doing? You know,
So,
and again,
I wouldn't want them taken. I'm all for gun rights properly. I mean, I do my background checks. There's one particular gun store I can go in, fill out my paperwork, and I walk out in 5 minutes with my gun. No issues. So it's, you know, we do that. I do think maybe registering them again. We used to have to register them in Missouri. We don't have to now.
You do in Maryland, you got to register them big time. But if you, let's say, moved here, it's called a transfer thing, where you take it to a gun shop and they send it to this gun shop, and it's a transfer fee, and you're good to go. And you don't have to get that highly qualified license because that was done in 2013, and you owed that gun long before 2013. So it's only for people like me or any other newbies that want to go out and get a handgun or something like that. But a shotgun, what blows me away about it, I could go get a shotgun. It takes me about 7 minutes to walk to Dick's Sports. I can walk upstairs, put my debit card down, fill out my forms. I can walk out with a semi-automatic shotgun that shoots, you know, like a not a Smith & Wesson, I forget which kind it is. You pull it back, you load up 8, and you just pop them off like that. That's worse than a handgun sometimes. And I'm sitting there, you know, and I traded that in. I had one of those, and I traded it in for a tattoo. He's, you know, very tattooed up. And what I did is I was a teacher at the time, and I had a student tell me, "Hey, Logston." I'm like, hey, what's up, man? I go, yeah, what's up? Yeah, my dad and I were driving up on Bonifant Street the other day, and I saw you with your rifle bag. And I was like, ooh. I was like, ooh. I said it was legal. I was going to the gun shop. Actually, I was taking it to, because it's easy. I can trade a gun. All I need is my driver's license, your driver's license for a shotgun, and how much I got it for. It could be $1. Write it out. You have a copy. I have a copy. It's legal. That's how it's. There's so many loopholes in life, you know, and stuff like that. And I'm all for illegal gun owning. I'm for it. You know, I'm all for it. I'm not, you know, I'm all for it. But certain people I just know should not be allowed to have them. It's just, you know.
I mean,
I traded them for tattoos. I mean, that's basically.
They were an investment for body art.
It was an investment. Well, I wasn't allowed to somewhat own one. I got in a little trouble, but you know, I'm just gonna keep it at that. But it was put on the table, not by my parents, not by anybody else. That you got 2 choices, son. That's all I heard. I was like, I think I'll take choice B. You know, so I gave them to my parents. Let them hold on to it. Finally, till I was sound mind at the time. They said, all right, you can have it back. I go, cool, I want a new tattoo anyway. So I just took it up to my artist. We did a signature. I'm sitting there in the shop holding a gun like this, and we traded up. And then I ended up getting all this tattoo work. But he's a gun collector, so he's like a big-time gun collector. But yeah, he's a great guy. Great guy.
Then you've got this girlfriend that has a whole bunch of guns.
Oh, you're more manly than I am. That's with that. I'll take full responsibility on that one right there. You definitely get more man points than I do. But then, see, I'm an up close and personal guy. When I talk to the guys, I talk to, let's say, guys from England and stuff, and they're only allowed to own an inch-long knife to carry on them.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I'm doing my flick knives. I'm going like this and that. I'm going over there. I got a SOG hatchet. Under my TV. I got a $250 sheath knife. It's called the ZT Zero Tolerance knife.
Yeah.
It's my dream knife. And then I got a SOG knife about this big. And then I got a kind of like a sword machete sitting in the corner. And then in my room I got so I'm like, I'm gonna get more up close and personal. So if we go out, we're gonna be looking at each other's eyes real quick. I'll be freaking out, don't get me wrong. Like the other night, I'm sleeping, all of a sudden everything's crashing in my living room. It's about 6 in the morning. And I'm flipping out. I'm like, motherfucker, who's breaking in my house? And I'm running around the corner, and the cat went running right by me, stuck in a bag. Stuck in a paper bag, and it's like jumping around in this bag. It was banging around my whole living room and stuff like that. And I'm sitting there going, "Oh my God, that scared the hell out of me!" But it turned out to be the funniest thing I think I've ever seen. Is my cat running it, and it was one of those shopping bags, or the paper ones that's got the little handles.
Right.
It got caught in it. And it was just banging all around, and I thought it was dying or something. Somebody was knocking stuff over my thing. I came running out there. No, the cat comes running right by me in a bag. I'm going, dude, that's gotta be the funniest thing. God, I wish I was awake.
Well, that was it yesterday? My youngest son texted me and asked if I was off work, and then I heard something. I thought, well, that shit comes sneaking in the house. And so I sent him a text back thinking I would hear where he was in the house when his phone made the noise, and I never heard it. And then I heard that noise again, and I was like, oh, and I'm grabbing stuff, and I'm hollering, I was calling his name, pulling out a Derringer. And
you found a Derringer?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was going to shoot, my hallway with it, and it turns out the cat had got stuck somehow to the laundry basket and was dragging that around. I mean, and that's a big, tall one, so it was a big noise. So I never, my kid wasn't in there. I thought he was, so. But yeah, don't sneak into my house.
Well, yeah, I'd be a little freaked out too if I heard that in your house, and but I just basically. Well, I live on the first floor, and I'm kind of in an apartment complex. That, I got to admit, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the paranormal, even though we are not even talking about that. That was absolutely bizarre. It sounded like a toilet flushing. And it sounded like somebody took a dump or something like that. I'm sorry.
You have a ghost in your house.
No, that came from your end.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did.
No, it didn't. It was Jay. We'll blame it on him.
Oh, well. Anyhow, we'll blame it on that, or I got the shoes still. I got to get rid of the shoes.
Oh.
I still got the shoes. I still got Frankie. Frankie the haunted monkey. But, I've ranted most of the show, but I mean, I think going back to kind of rewrapping things up, going back to the whole ISIS thing, and we were talking about conspiracy theories and that, it's a complex problem that is not going to be fixed anytime soon.
And there's no one thing that's going to fix it. It's going to take a lot of effort from a lot of people, a lot of countries.
We can't be the one. I think we're at the point now where I'm so sick of us being the world's policemen, going in and watching our guys die. I mean, Britain will send their guys, and Canada will help out too. I'm not going to disrespect them because Britain's always been by our side, minus the fact when we kicked their ass twice. Well, 1.5 times. Can we tie the second time? I call it draw. Both said they won. I called it draw. But no, Britain's always there with us. Britain's always sided with us. But I'm just saying that we shouldn't be the world's policeman. Let the Soviet or the Russians, not the Soviets, because they're no longer Soviets anymore. But the Russians deal with it. Let the French deal with it. Let the Germans go out and fight it. You know what? We'll bomb it. We'll bomb it. Fine. We only sent 50 special forces, and all these people are complaining, going, oh, only 50 forces. Okay, so you're going to send your son into that battle? That's going to be twice as bad as what Afghanistan was. You got a civil war going on there. You got ISIS going on there in Iraq, and they're spreading around other parts of the world. And and there's got a lot of copycat groups. It's best that we don't send special forces as it's needed to guide the missiles and the bombs and to fight, to train. Fine, but to send them in to train, that's the same way Vietnam started.
And we've got too many assets spread over the globe, and what's going to happen is we're going to be caught with our pants down everywhere else, getting into business that probably isn't ours, and then we're going to need it at home.
Yeah,
that's what I worry about right there.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, it's one thing to bomb them, fine. Let the Russians. I mean, they're going to get bombed out, but they said there's so many planes that are flying back, not dropping their bombs. We're more focused on not having any innocents killed, but at the same time, I say let the Russians lead the force. Let them bomb. They had a plane that went down. Let the French do it. We don't need to be leading this fight. I mean, yeah, we could lead the fight in the sense of getting information and tapping into this, tapping into that. But they're saying that's getting so hard because these guys are so sophisticated when it comes to computers that Al Qaeda wasn't like that. Yeah, and that's something that even it's interesting as Anonymous is saying we're in this raging battles. I mean, more power to you, buddy, but you don't know what the weight. These guys now what they do is they talk to each other. They do not talk on the phone because it can't be intercepted. So I don't know. I'm just exhausted after this show. The show's been one of those shows where it's just exhausting. But if you watch this show,
it's really not a news show, folks.
It's not a news show. It's just we figured, Dallas couldn't make it. Dallas was having some issues tonight, which is understandable. So we said we said let's just go with it. Let's just see what we can come up with, basically. I'm not bashing anybody. Yeah, well, I'm bashing a few people out there.
Yeah, it'd be all right.
Yeah, I don't mind. A bunch of crayon chewers. But and not everybody's a crayon chewer. I find myself being I'm a red crayon chewer at times. I find myself doing that.
I'm going to get you a new pack for Christmas.
Well, like I said, in 1903, Santa Claus, when crayons first came out, they had 8 of them. So I guess the color would be green first for green for the one crayon chewer, red for the other one, black crayon chewers. What other colors do you think they might have?
White, blue,
purple,
white, yellow, orange.
Orange? I think orange probably came out later. Remember they had the double deckers? Like when you went to elementary school?
And then it had the starter built into it.
On the back. Yep. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So we are getting ready to close shop right now. Lynette, who do you have on next week? Who do you and Dallas have on next week?
Next week, we've got Kelly Shaw coming on. So I've got to double check a few things with him, but he is coming on. Or no, I'm sorry. I've got that mixed up. Ken Gerhard is coming on next week.
What's he going to be talking about?
He is on a few shows that may have to do with a large cryptoid type creature.
Well, you got to advertise it.
Oh, I know. But we got Ken Gerhard and Kelly Shaw will be the week after that. Both of them really nice people, a Bigfoot community type thing. And Ken actually has a show that's come out recently. I'm going to watch that. I've seen Lauren Coleman made a comment on it. I think he was actually featured in part of it also. So
okay,
we'll get that up on the poster and, have a link to find the show online if anybody's having trouble with that. And hopefully Dallas will not have any issues next week, so he'll be with us the full
Dallas is
time.
great.
Oh, Dallas is
up
great.
with me. Dallas probably got off because I started ranting. Poor
I
guy.
think he was amused.
I apologize, Dallas, for that one. But following next Sunday, come check us out at BTWN Paranormal. We have KJ McCormick from Taps and Ghost Hunters. So it's going to be awesome to talk to him mid-season, see how things are going and what he has coming up and what he's up to and what learn more about him. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for coming on. Dallas, I'm giving Dallas a big thumbs up. Dallas will get you all situated, and Len will be running the show next time, and all the above. Okay, have a great night.
All right, night, everybody.